What's going on, folks? Happy Monday, or whatever day it is that you are watching this. We are back with another replay, and this time it's a bit of a special treat because this is not a player we see all too often. It's going to be our red Zerg player, yellowjellow. This guy rarely really plays StarCraft anymore, instead often opting to run or take random trips to Vienna to visit his secret girlfriend. Well, that's just his preference, I guess, but as I said, it's a rare treat that we get to see a game from him, and it's going to be a ZVZ. It did start off as a ZVR, but we do see that his opponent, down in the bottom left, in the blue, it is Galivan. And yellowjellow's not going to know yet that it's a ZVZ, as far as he's aware. Could be ZVP, could be ZVT. And so he did go for the pool first, just a bit of safety. We do see Galivan's being a little bit cheeky. That was a relatively early pool on his side of things. We see that's already done. Yellowjellow's still a few seconds away, but should be in time in case Galivan goes for anything crazy, which we do not see out of him. No Zerglings in production. He did start off that speed, continuing to mine gas. Getting a second gas, in fact. That's a little weird. And no queen. So it definitely kind of feels like this is not Galivan's main race. Definitely really shouldn't be delaying that queen so much. But we'll see what he has in store for us. Second gas is definitely a little bit weird. We do have yellowjellow with his first two lings, going to be running across the map for a little bit of scouting. Speed just now starting up here for yellowjellow, who did get that queen. Second base is up and running, and two lings just going to be... Are they attacking the cocoon, or I don't know. This is a just really pointless maneuver here. That's that famous yellowjellow army control there. Gonna fight four lings with two lings, and only just... No, gonna lose both of them. So, didn't even get a scout of the main base as we see here. So, yeah, a bit of a mistake from yellowjellow there. Now Galivan gonna be running across. He does have his ling speed finished. 3 lings over here. Gonna take off one drone? Yeah, one drone there. Could have been better. But 4 more lings. Gonna catch another 2 or 3, maybe? I think that was just 3 in total, if I'm not mistaken. How do I pull that up? There we go. 4 drones lost at the cost of 8 Zerglings, but yellowjellow did, of course, lose those 2 initial lings, so slight edge in the resources lost for Galivan, who is continuing the pressure here. Gonna go for some Baneling pressure. 4 Banelings being morphed here, yellowjellow being very defensive, walling up the front, plugging up the hole with his queens, and I do like this queen count 4 so far. Banelings, oh, they do squeeze by, and they are gonna get a lot of yellowjellow's lings, but the queens hold strong. That could have gone a lot worse, but after all that, Galivan taking the drone lead, as we see 27 to 25 of yellowjellow, who does not know if the pressure is going to continue, so he is throwing down a spine crawler. He's being extra defensive right now, not really sure what he wants to do, and now he kind of feels safe enough to start up 9 drones. Galivan not really committing to the pressure, kind of just faking it at this moment. There's only, what is that, 10 or so lings out here. I'm just kind of setting up a soft contain of yellow jello. Meanwhile, he is going up to a layer back home, droning up. He still has the drone advantage, 34 to 33, only slightly. And yellow jello still on hatchery tech. He's getting +1 armor. That's going to allow his zerglings to tank a single baneling hit. But just starting up, so it's going to be about another 2 minutes or so away. Yellow jello does want to poke out a little bit and relieve some of that pressure from his opponent's zerglings. It does force them back, but Galivan taking a third base. He is transitioning into a bit of a macro game, it looks like. That layer did finish up, and what's going to be the tech of choice? It's going to be a Spire. Very annoying tech there. And yellow jello going for a bit of an attack on this third base, crashes the Baneling into the morphing Baneling cocoon. Maybe send a Ling to finish that? Hello, yellow jello. And once again, we see that famous yellow jello army control there. Definitely could have taken out this third, or at least forced to cancel. But I don't know what he was doing. Things not looking all too hot for yellow jello. He is stuck on 2 bases. He's still on hatchery tech. He is trailing on workers. All he has is a handful of queens right now. No army in sight. Some roaches are gonna pop out, but this is super late. Spire about 70% done, and yellow jello is gonna need to hit right now if he really wants to do some damage before mutas take the field. But roaches are gonna take a while to make it across the map, and I don't know. Galivan doesn't really have too much on his side of things. That Spire did finish. We have 9 mutas in production, so they are gonna pop out maybe in the middle of this engagement. Yellow jello does have a very small window here. There are only 3 banelings. You do see that +1 carapace coming into effect there, allowing his zerglings to just tank that shot. And it looks like yellow jello should be able to take this base out, but the mutas do pop out. And what's yellow jello going to do? Is he going to stick around or run home? This is a lot of mutas, but keep in mind the roaches don't have speed, so probably won't even be able to make it home if they turn back, which he does do. And the mutas and the lings are probably just going to clean up all of these. Again, not too sure about this call here. We do see these roaches taking so much damage, but they are buying time for yellow jello to get up these spore crawlers. I think he might need maybe 1 over here in between bases, and yeah, start getting up 1 at this third base as well. So he should be pretty safe against those mutas. And Galivan not even gonna try to go into the mineral line or the bases. Instead, I think just looking for overlords, and there are a few out here on the map. Actually, yellow jello's poor overlord positioning kind of helping him a little bit, so he doesn't lose too many. But in ZVZ, you do kind of usually have them all over the place. Mutas and lings are gonna be roaming around the map, gonna see what they can find. A few creep tumors here. This spore crawler not in the best spot, so this third base gonna go down. There was a window to cancel, but yellow jello was not on top of that, so does lose that base. And that is quite unfortunate for him. Now, Galivan, he's not committing any more to the muta technology. In fact, he is switching into Hydralisk. And what is this? The Lurker Den. So maybe he's anticipating that his opponent is gonna go for Hydras, which is the case. Yellow jello with a bit of a counterattack with his lings does force a cancel on the third. Gonna try to get a little bit of damage done in the main and natural, but only a few drones going down, it looks like. Nothing too substantial there, and Galivan still with the worker lead, 45 to 37 of yellow jello, who is still on 2 bases, not getting that third base. Roaches are trying to force another cancel, but the Mutas and Hydras should be able to take that down. So that was a bit of a waste. Galivan with a pretty hefty supply lead at the moment, 84 to 67, and he's got everything going for him. Worker lead, the army lead. But these Ling run-bys could prove to be annoying. 3 spine crawlers in the front, not going to be enough to take care of all these Zerglings, so Zerglings do force the drones to run away, and more importantly, actually, forcing the entire army of Galivan to run back home. Now, the Lings, they don't really get too much done. As we see, Galivan is still sitting pretty healthy at 42 workers, but I would say that was pretty worth it. Galivan was thinking about an attack. He was kind of halfway across the map, forced to turn around. And that, again, relieves some of the pressure on yellowjellow's side of things. He does have his base finishing up soon. He's got Hydralisk taking the field. So things are kind of evening up now. 38 workers of Galivan to 36 of yellowjellow. And we do have 1-1-1 for yellowjellow. Only +1 melee and +1 flyer for the blue Zerg on the other side of things. But he does have that third base up and running sooner. And it looks like things are gonna just slow down for now, as both players do have their third bases up. Galivan gonna send a few Lings across the map, see what he can find out, but it's not really meant to do any damage, kind of more of a scout if anything. And they're just gonna get poked to death here. The other 3 at this location got taken out by the Hydras. Yellowjellow has done a good job stabilizing. They are even on workers now, pretty close on overall supply as well. Yellowjellow going for a big attack, and Galivan maybe not paying attention, losing a few Mutas to the Hydralisks. That is a bit of a mistake there. Yellowjellow morphing in 3 Banelings, sitting on the creep of his opponent, so giving his opponent that information. Not the best call, and those Banelings do get all taken out. And we do see that Galivan does have lurkers, so that's going to make things a lot more difficult for yellowjellow here. Does not have any lurker den in sight. Infestation pit on the way, and that's going to give him access to Hive and then eventually Vipers, which are excellent against lurkers, but it does take a while for them to take the field. Queen's getting a little ahead of themselves. Maybe it's transfusion. Okay, nice saving that one queen. And we're going to see a big fight here. 2 lurkers kind of holding down the position for Galivan, and yellowjellow, yeah, doesn't want to fight that. No real reason to, because all you're really protecting here is some creep. So yeah, just back up to the safety of, I guess, your spine crawler, your base, whatever, and force your opponent to come to you. Galivan gonna be repositioning this one lurker, maybe to potentially deny this 4th base. Yellowjellow getting a little bit antsy, but yeah, only 1 lurker in position there, so pretty easy to take that fight. And he does clean that up. There's that 1 lurker, as I said, but it's not really threatening a whole lot. I guess if and when yellowjellow decides to take this base, it could be a little bit of a nuisance. Yellowjellow going to be looking for some damage here as well. 2 more lurkers burrowed, and 3 more are going to burrow as well, and we should absolutely not stick around here. Yellowjellow suffering massive casualties for not a whole lot of gain, losing almost his entire army. And we do have that hive on the way. We do have a lurker den for yellowjellow as well. No lurkers in production for our red Zerg. Galivan not teching up to hive. So if this game continues a few more minutes, yellowjellow's going to have the hive. He's going to have the lurker upgrades, and we know how important those are. Galivan will not have those. Galivan going to be going for infestation pit as well as pathogen glands. So I'm going to be thinking of some juicy fungals, perhaps. Yellowjellow going for those vipers as well that I mentioned before. Still no lurkers in production, it seems like. But vipers themselves, excellent counters to lurkers if you can control them well, which is a big ask. It's hard to use spellcasters, but if you can maybe yoink them out of the ground, cast some blinding clouds on them, could be absolutely huge. Jello going for an attack on this 4th base of Galivan, and it looks like he should have enough. There's only a handful of hydras here. Does take out that 4th base. Galivan not gonna try to reclaim that position, instead falling back to his lurkers. So nice pick off there from yellowjellow for essentially free. Yellowjellow has claimed the worker supply lead, 61 to 49, and 9 more workers on the way. So yellowjellow establishing a pretty decent spot for himself here. Don't want to take that fight. Okay, backs off in time. And yeah, I think it's time to go home. I mean, you can just look at the numbers here. There's way too many hydras for your opponent. There's no reason to be sticking around here, yellowjellow. Back off, go home, spend your money. 11 overlords, that's a little excessive. He is a bit supply blocked right now. Galivan gonna be pushing across the map a little bit, cleaning up some of the creep, and yellowjellow's got not a lot back home. He's morphing 5 lurkers, but they're quite a ways away. Let's see if Galivan can find some damage here. Oh boy! Gonna be taking out 2 of those, 3 of those cocoons, make that 4. Only 1 lurker survives. These blinding clouds, not really sure what they're doing. Yellowjellow getting fungled there, but not enough to follow up and capitalize on that. So somehow yellowjellow surviving that. I think Galivan could have actually continued the attack there. Only 1 lurker from yellowjellow. That was a little bit dicey. You see Galivan has the army's supply lead, 84 to 62. Some of that is in these lurkers that are burrowed back at home. But all these hydras, a couple of infestors, that is a little bit scary. Yellowjellow, I think he just needs to be defensive. He's got the worker lead, and this lurker we were talking about before being an absolute nuisance, getting 7 kills, make that 12, make that 16 before it gets taken out. So pretty worth it there, denying some creep. I don't know if it took out any queens, but taking out a bunch of zerglings, peppering up a bunch of others. And here comes a big attack from Galivan, lots of hydras. Do think he needs some more zerglings in the mix, just as a bit of a meat shield to soak up some of the damage, but it's a lot of hydras. 2 lurkers in the mix as well. It's going to be very difficult for yellowjellow to engage this. I think he needs to evacuate this base, but a lot of these drones very low on health, them getting taken out. Galivan just going to back up now. Not only for that guaranteed damage, doesn't want to waste more units there. And another Ling counterattack, taking out 2 queens there. Pretty good move there from Galivan, kind of hitting 2 spots at once. It wasn't quite at the same time, but still pretty decent job there from the blue Zerg. Who has teched up to Hive as well. I don't think he has the lurker upgrades on his side of things. No, doesn't have seismic spines, doesn't have the, what's that called, the adaptive talons. But Galivan is taking up to ultralisks. I don't know about that call. I think lurkers are the better option. Now yellowjellow going for an attack on this 4th base once again, taking that out. Only, what was that, 2 or 3 lurkers there. Those get taken out as well. Now Galivan looks like he wants to fight this, and he does have a lot of hydras here. Some decent fungals as well, but the lurkers from yellowjellow just so strong in that position. Keep in mind they have the ranged upgrade. Not sure what these queens are doing. Why are you guys just hanging out in the middle of the map off creep? Yeah, you gotta go home. This one burrowed lurker still destroying stuff. And what are you? What? Why is those overseers into the spore crawlers, losing both of them? Yellowjellow not really controlling his units too well there. This burrowed lurker. Why did he move it here? I don't know. I think he could have kept it there and denied this base. They do get taken out now. Yellowjellow still with the supply lead, worker lead. Pretty much everything going in his favor right now. Galivan is starting to get ultralisks, but again, I don't really think they're that good in this matchup, and definitely not against this unit composition. Few lurkers just do so much damage, and I think this bad boy's a little bit stuck. Might have to move these spine crawlers a little bit. Yellowjellow is taking this 5th base location. And we do see Yellowjellow has 3/3 attack and +2 armor, so the upgrades favoring the red Zerg as well. Galivan, he's got his back against the ropes right now, but he's not out of it just yet. Lurkers are so incredibly powerful. Fungal growth's pretty good there to slow down a bunch of those lings and hydras, allowing Galivan to clean those up for relatively low cost. And now he's laying siege to this 5th base, wasting 2 fungals on, make that 4 fungals on the drones. I don't think that was necessary. Those drones were pretty much dead anyways. Better off saving those fungals for the army later on. Galivan just gonna back up, secure that damage, and no reason to push into a stronger position there. So I like that call by Galivan. He has done that a couple times this game, and I do really like the decision there. And Yellowjellow looking for an attack of his own now. Lings, hydras, lurkers. It's gonna clean up some of the creep here. Not really gonna force his way in. Maybe he is. He does siege in a very interesting position in between the 2 bases, but not a whole lot else over here. We do have that one ultralisk doing a whole lot of nothing there, as you can see. And a bit of a stalemate at this position, but the pressure is on the blue Zerg. Picking up one lurker, just kind of being annoying, does get taken out by the opposing lurker. 5 more lurkers getting morphed here from Yellowjellow. He's going to re-siege this position. Vipers just roaming around, gonna see what they can see. Yoinks that lurker out of the ground. Nice play there from Yellowjellow. And now it's just gonna inch forward. And oh, that's gonna be it. Galivan just leaves. I think that might have been a little premature, but yeah, he was definitely up against the ropes there. I think he would have lost eventually. And Yellowjellow taking that game.